Troy and AJ are in the house. This is World War G on CosmicPotatoNetwork.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man. That's a big point.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G episode 298. I'm Troy.
Troy is literally one of a kind. He's a goblin or a hobbit or a kobold, which is a type of gremlin.
I'm AJ.
AJ, what kind of name is AJ? What, do you race cars?
We're 2 weeks away.
Right? Back at it.
2 weeks away from episode 300.
It's just around the corner.
It is. We got a lot of things prepared. We got, after this episode, we're going to talk and plan out some things.
Yes.
So it should be good. Look forward to it.
As do I.
So apparently I sent you on kind of a wild Doritos chase.
Yeah. Like
accidentally.
No, it's all good. I initially had taken a picture of the Doritos when I found them at a local super Walmart, right?
Yeah.
And I should have, I was thinking I should pick these up right now and then just get them and, set them aside for the taste test. And then, I was just like, well, no, because I'd be way too tempted to try them. I've got some, family parties and some other get-togethers and stuff going on. I'm like,
right.
I'd probably be tempted to take them. So then I went to the first Walmart, and while I was there, and even though I didn't find them, I did locate this Mountain Dew, which actually technically comes out tomorrow. The vendor was there stocking them in the fridge, getting ready for this big release kind of a deal, and I was just like, hey, can I snag two? And he's like, all right, here you go. And so we got these brand new.
Right off the truck.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Major Melon.
Major Melon.
Right? I believe this is the first, besides Diet Mountain Dew, I think this is the one with no sugar. The first one that they've released with no sugar, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And what goes better with Major Melon Dew than these Doritos? I was able to find them at the second location. There was only 3 bags left, but I managed to get, what is that, chili
cheese nacho.
Chili cheese nacho and spicy ranch.
Now, these are the Doritos 3D that we talked about a few weeks back. Let's get some nice ASMR going here as I open the bag.
Oh, yeah. Which one do you want to start with first? Nacho?
Yeah, let's do nacho.
All right.
Let's do classic first. Now, these did come out years ago, back in, I think, the mid to late 90s.
They came out in 1998.
Thank you. You did your research.
I sure did.
And they look... they look the same, I think.
Kind of. I thought they were a little bit more puffy.
Yeah.
Right? These ones kind of look more like puffy. What are those? What are the ones that you put on your fingers? The rings?
Bugles.
Bugles. Yeah. They kind of look like a bugle.
Puffed up bugles. Yeah.
Although they do have a nice crunch to them.
Got the same mouthfeel.
Yes.
I remember the mouthfeel of the originals. Okay. That's pretty good. You got the nacho cheese. Then the chili kind of hits you at the end.
Definitely do have the chili.
It's not a lot though.
No.
I mean, it's just a little bit to kind of let you know it's there.
I think I went to speak and someone down the wrong too.
Oh.
Ugh. They kind of remind me a lot of those. It's part of the whole Ito's family. Well, I'm a fan of them all. Fritos, Eatos, Doritos. Cheetos, right? No, but they taste really similar to those chili cheese ones that they did for Fritos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same exact seasoning.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay.
All
Did
right.
you want to grab some of these as well?
I did, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So these are just
Spicy ranch,
spicy ranch. Ooh, spicy ranch.
right? I'm not sure if it was just a handful that I grabbed, but these ones seem puffier.
I'm gonna compare. No, they seem about the same
Okay.
in puffiness. Those have more spice
They do, yeah.
than the nacho cheese. I'm feeling that a lot more. I think I like the nacho cheese better.
Really?
Those aren't bad.
Yeah.
Like those are still good, but the nacho cheese, it's just more of that classic Doritos taste.
Yeah. With it being nacho, with it being the nacho, right?
Mm-hmm. And those are kind of setting my mouth on fire.
So
Just a little bit. I mean, it's not a lot, but
well, that's good because you can have that bag and I'll have this bag.
fair enough. Yeah, those
Cheers.
Oh yeah, cheers. Yeah, those are good. I like those. If you can find them, pick them up. I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, Mountain Dew, Zero Sugar, Major Melon. I knew a couple of girlfriends who I could nickname Major Melon.
Oh, that is pleasant.
Ooh, that's
right?
really good.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like watermelon bubble gum or something.
Carbonated water bubble gum. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Man, now I just need like a good movie
Yeah.
on set.
Right? Must be like good gaming fuel or something.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Doritos and Mountain Dew? It's like we're being cliche here.
Although it's always really annoying. I've got a lot of friends that they'll eat while chewing. And I have one friend, I'm not going to put her on blast and like call her out, but she can chew gummy bears and make them sound crunchy on the mic when we're gaming. I'm like, what the hell? I just about said her name. What the hell? So-and-so? Like, she's awesome and I love her, but man, she crunches some food on the mic. And
Does it start with an S, her name?
No.
Oh.
No.
That's not what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, no. No, we make fun of, like, the one that starts with an S, Summer. We tease, whatever, Jackie, we tease her.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Oh.
We give her so much crap, but she always finds the best restaurants, like, ever. And then when we actually go out to LA, she, like, shows us all of them. So I guess it's worth the crunch to get
Right. Gotta take the
food.
good with the bad.
Exactly.
You know.
Like this episode and 2020, right?
Yes.
You do have to take the good with the bad.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
speaking of which, you had texted me while you were on your Doritos journey
Yes.
and told me to...
It's like a side quest.
Yeah. To find some celebrities that were doing good or putting positivity out there during the pandemic, because some didn't do that so much.
No, not all celebrities ended up smelling like roses.
No.
Not that this is at the end of the pandemic, because it's still continuing, so
Sure.
wear your masks, but it feels like a closure with 2020 ending, right?
Yeah.
There's some sort of like sense of hope. And you can't say the same thing about all these celebrities. So
I mean, let's face it, 2020 was a shitball of a year.
yeah.
And so we thought, when we find, and celebrities can also be giant shitballs.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we combine the two and see if there's some good in there somewhere.
Yes. You managed to find quite a few.
I did.
Like,
Yeah. So I found quite a few musicians and singers that actually did a lot of donating. Like The Weeknd, for example.
mm-hmm.
He donated $1 million to COVID-19 relief efforts on June 29th.
Which is cool because he also had an album that released in 2020 as well. So some of the proceeds, I imagine, went there.
Yeah. You also have... What's I put on here? Oh, yeah.
Eminem.
Yep, Eminem. Yeah, I'm trying to find him in the list here. Actually, let's do old Billy Ray first. Billy Ray Cyrus announced that in partnership with Genies, he will be donating 20,000 masks to Native communities to use for their protection against the COVID-19 virus. If you don't know, Native American communities got hit really hard with the virus for whatever reason. But
whether it's genes or whether it was just like lack of other provisions or something, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, they got hit,
but
harder than almost probably any group in the U.S.
That's really cool of them.
Where's Eminem?
Because masks were so scarce for a minute,
for
right?
a while there. Yeah,
the hospitals didn't even have enough.
Yeah. Eminem, the rapper, is helping out in several ways. He announced in an April 29 tweet that he is donating an extra pair of his rare Eminem X Carhartt Air Jordans to benefit the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. A ticket for a chance to win the shoes will cost you $10. And according to the Detroit Free Press, there are only 10 pairs of these sneakers in existence, and they're worth about $20,000 each.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He was also said earlier in April, the artist donated cups of his mom's spaghetti to Detroit area healthcare workers. Let's see. Who else we got here?
I don't know if he released that to the public in a whole, but that was a missed opportunity for him to start a spaghetti company, right? Partner with Ragu or something.
He could be the new Newman Zone.
Oh yeah,
Eminem Zone.
Mom's spaghetti.
And obviously, special shout out to Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Who donated, I think it was $1 million to researching the vaccine, which actually helped a lot in getting the vaccine out there and getting it made.
Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
We're going to talk about him. It kind of happened during the Jazz, wasn't it the Jazz Maverick game?
I don't remember who they were playing.
But news came out that he tested positive for COVID.
Right.
And they released that during the game, and it shut down the whole NBA.
Yeah.
So he got a lot of flack for that, but at the same time, he was also the first NBA player to donate, I believe it was $1 million or over that. He donated a ton of money, a couple $100,000 at least, to help support these people that, the workers there at the NBA arena, in order to keep, them having jobs or at least getting money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's been countless other celebrities that have donated since. It was even cool for a minute. They had for the Black Lives Movement, they had on the back of their jerseys, I'm not sure if this is still going on, but they had those jerseys that they'd released where they could put different words, encouraging messages on the back of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people and organizations that realized that money, that's not what's important right now.
Right.
It's about getting things out there to people. It's about making somebody's day. It's about, sharing your abilities, sharing your talents, sharing your funds if you have them to help other people. For example, I just saw this here. The Metropolitan Opera was streaming operas for free.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because, not only did, sports shut down and all these small businesses and all sorts of other stuff, movie theaters, all different types of, concerts in general, which I had, 3 different concerts I was going to go to, last year. Tickets paid and everything. And
I probably had 50 movies I was going to go see.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So entertainment was kind of at an all-time low.
Yes.
As far as new material coming out.
Yeah. Or the LVMH cosmetics company was using its perfume and cosmetics factories to make hand sanitizer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they shut down everything else.
There was quite a few good celebrities that also had really decent posts. about them testing positive and kind of getting the word out there. It's just like, hey, let's come together as a community. Idris Elba, he said that he'd been in contact with somebody that tested positive, so he went and he quarantined himself. He got himself tested It came back positive. He said he wasn't showing any results, but even people that aren't showing results, could still pass it on, right? So he did, he went through the proper steps.
Tom Hanks and his wife, they got it. They were one of the first.
Weren't they in Australia at the time? Yeah.
Yeah. Alyssa Milano got it.
Yeah.
She got it really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy how it affects people differently.
Yeah, and I follow her on Instagram, and she said she got way back in April, I think, and she still is having issues with that.
One of my friends, they still haven't gotten any of their taste back just yet from it, and yeah, I don't know if they will or not.
I mean, I have about 35% of my smell and taste back.
Okay.
Luckily, what I got was extremely mild.
Yeah.
Really just, it felt like a cold.
And some of these celebrities that got it before it was cool,
right.
Before, wait, I got a post.
Got COVID before it was trendy.
The Rock was pretty cool about it. I know that he made his workout readily available for free. For a minute. He'd also been posting videos, workout videos the entire time.
Well, speaking of celebrities that got it, he got it.
Yeah,
and his whole family got it too.
Right.
Anyway. So you have people like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who donated $1 million to Feeding America and Food Banks Canada.
Oh, wow, okay. Helping out those Canadians. Well, They are Canadian, aren't they?
They are. They
Both?
are.
I know Ryan is.
I don't know if Blake Lively's Canadian, to be honest with you. Who else we got here that I wrote down? Sorry, it's kind of a big list here, which is good. It's good that it's a big list. Actors Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell waived rent for their tenants through April.
Oh, wow, okay.
In the month of April. Apparently, they own a couple residential buildings in Los Angeles, and they waived the rent fees for the month of April due to the virus.
It's expensive, to rent.
Especially in Los Angeles?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's a couple of grand per person.
Yeah.
I don't know how big these places are, but geez, that could be easily millions of dollars.
Yeah. Oprah, all these celebrities donate $1 million here, $1 million here. Oprah donated $10 million because she's Oprah.
She's not one to be outdone.
Yeah. Toward COVID-19 relief efforts. Who else?
You get $1 million, and you get $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh, this one was cool. Kate Upton and Justin Verlander donate MLB checks to fight coronavirus. So if you don't know, Kate Upton's husband, Justin Verlander, is a baseball player, professional baseball player. And this is what they tweeted. They said, recently, the @MLB announced they will be continuing to send paychecks to players while the season is suspended. He said, @Kate Upton and I have decided to donate those funds to a different organization each week so that we can support their efforts and highlight the great work they're doing during the COVID-19 crisis.
Gotcha. Update, Blake Lively, she is originally from Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. California. So definitely not Canadian then.
She is, not.
Let's see, who else here? Who else?
Did we already talk about John Krasinski?
No.
Okay.
We didn't.
Him with because nobody was working really, and there wasn't really good news being spread around that he started, Some Good News?
Some Good News, yeah, on YouTube.
Which I watched a couple of the episodes. There wasn't many because he since moved on to other projects and passed it along to somebody else. Because I don't know,
he probably started getting busy Like, I'm sure he returned to work making films and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But those were pretty inspirational and
Yes.
really cool to see. And I liked that he brought in a lot of the cast from The Office on these episodes
Yes.
to help out. That was kind of cool. That was the closest we'll get to like a Office reunion for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just left Netflix. So.
That's true. Wow.
I did see a bunch of posts on like Facebook, people being all depressed. I'm like, DVDs still exist, right?
Yeah.
You can go out and get the entire series on DVD.
Right. You don't see Troy crying that like HBO Max has Friends.
That's right. And why is that? I have the entire series on DVD.
Booyah!
So it's no skin off my nose.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to This Week in Geek.
This weekend.
Geek.
Alrighty. So it has been confirmed that Creed 3 is in the works, but an interesting twist, it'll be directed by Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, great. I mean, it's going to suck.
Right? I was thinking about this, and I feel like a lot of the movies, there's only been a few celebrities that have done it well, that have only like directed as well as acted in it as the main star. And it's a difficult task to do because you want to make yourself look good, but at the same time, you're also trying to like uplift other people. And I feel like it'll...
Well, and the other thing is, and we can talk more about this when we talk about Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Is when the star of the movie gets a bit more power within subsequent sequels.
Yes.
They tend to have a lot more say in what their character does and says instead of like, the writers.
Right.
And so that ends up suffering.
Even when they're executive producers, it still suffers the story because I know with the Fast and the Furious franchise, The Rock and Vin Diesel and a couple other characters have it written into their contracts that they can't lose a fight.
Yeah.
And that taints the whole, it doesn't add any suspense to anything when you know that they can't lose. No matter what happens, they can't lose. And I feel like this is going to happen to Creed as well. Because he's not going to want to lose this third installment. And I also think that it'll be it could get kind of political, I feel like, a little bit. Michael B. Jordan, like, good or bad, like, he has a tendency of wearing his thoughts and stuff on his sleeve.
Yes.
Right? So I feel like this is a chance for him to kind of be like, hey, I can do whatever I want. I can, like, send out a message. And I don't know. Rocky is about the underdog, and it doesn't seem like in this third installment he's going to really be the underdog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope, because I loved the first one, and the second one was decent. Like, I always hope with the third one that they turn it around, kind of like what they did with Toy Story.
Yeah.
Right, and some of these other franchises. It's like, the second one was decent, but the third one, it was fantastic. And I hope that that's the case, but I don't know if I have as high hopes.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not the case.
Hopefully you've got like a executive producer with Sylvester Stallone and a couple other people in the room saying like, hey, let's go this direction.
Let's ground this a little bit,
Right.
I also think it seems like they're putting out these movies a lot quicker than they used to. You notice that?
Yeah.
Like the Rocky sequels seem like they took forever.
It was like 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Between sequels.
And now it's just like, let's pump it out as fast as we possibly can.
It's like every 2 years or so.
Mm-hmm. Is that just because people's attention spans, like, to kind of catch that whole fire and to keep people thinking about it?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's kind of this social media culture that we have. Like, you got to keep yourself in the spotlight, keep yourself in the public consciousness.
Right. But that could be through other movies, not necessarily like, hey, let's let this simmer for a little bit, and then we'll catch people's attention and get like a buzz going about this. But that doesn't seem to be the case with some of these franchises.
Yeah. So, this will not be the last time we talk about Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman 1984 is the biggest 2020 streaming release.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Wonder Woman 1984, officially the biggest streaming release of 2020. It's already been watched more than Disney Plus's Hamilton and Soul.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
And I think it's made...
Is that together? Both of those combined?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think it's made over 100 million at this point.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
How do they really judge that with like a streaming service that it's made that money? Like, I know that you can purchase it separately and watch it, or you can go in and watch it at theaters.
I don't know how they judge that, but that's just
for every watch. It's like $5, right?
Something like that.
There's got to be some sort of equation.
Yeah, some sort of mathematical something.
That's impressive for pandemic numbers.
Yeah. Especially with Hamilton, which was huge.
Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't have a chance. I did watch Soul, but...
Yeah, no, I've watched Hamilton a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worth checking out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you've done a review on that one.
It's good.
Okay. Fair enough. That's
4 out of 5, whatever.
That's some impressive numbers for Wonder Woman. One other story that I've got, Gerard Butler has been chosen to play Kratos in the Sony's God of War movie. And as cool of a, I'm sure this was very, it didn't say in the article, but I'm sure this was very fan-driven, right? Like, the fans, petitioned for this and wanted this because he'd already played, in 300.
Right.
And so he kind of, looks kind of similar to him. He doesn't... Maybe they'll do a better job, but he doesn't look like Kratos at all.
I'm going to say right now, Gerard Butler is not a good actor.
No, that was my other point. I was going to say, the dude can't act that well.
For Kratos, you got to be more than just, anger and muscle. He wasn't as Leonidas. You got to be more. You got to have some actual acting skills, acting ability. You got to be able to emote a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they introduce, like they did in the franchise, his son into the picture.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, be tough, but at the same time loving and tender. Tough in a, tough love.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he could really... I haven't seen a movie where he can kind of invoke those.
No, every movie I've seen... First of all, every movie I've seen, he's fighting his Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And not doing the greatest job. So there's that, and because he's doing that, then it seems like his performance is constantly suffering, and he's very one note, and he's just another action star. That's all it is.
I'm looking up all of his... although, I have heard really good things about Greenland. I've yet to see it. I've seen Den of Thieves. I've seen 300. Mm-hmm. I've seen Olympus Has Fallen. I didn't see Angel Has Fallen. London Has Fallen. I didn't see those ones.
I've seen a lot of his films.
The Ugly Truth.
Yeah. Den of Thieves was actually really good. I thought.
I remember where I was talking about it, and that you said you had to kind of shut your brain off, and it's just like a action movie.
Yeah.
It's not too plot-driven. Man... I'm not seeing a movie in the mix that I really, really like. Oh, he was good in How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Because he was just able to use his own voice, his own accent.
Right. No, don't have this happen. I love the God of War franchise so much, and I would hate to see him just ruin it. And it's going to be one of those other where they have to go bigger and larger with the screen. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't much care for 300. It kind of bugged me. And even these other movies where you have these huge creatures or beasts and stuff that are larger than life, it looks so phony and fake.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so it is being filmed this year, and it's going to be set to release in 2022, though.
Well,
yeah.
At this point, it's a video game movie. It's not going to be good.
No.
Let's face it. Just like this new Mortal Kombat that's coming out. I don't have any high hopes for that.
No, not
at all.
No.
it's going to be crap. Like, even the Mortal Kombat video games where they try to put in a story, the story's convoluted and doesn't make any sense in the video game, so how the heck can they do it on film?
Right.
Yeah. So, one positive thing that came out of 2020 is that women directed more Hollywood movies in 2020 than ever before. 16% of the top grossing films released in 2020 were directed by women. This is the highest percentage of female directors of all time.
Oh, wow.
So, movies like Little Women, The Farewell, Birds of Prey,
Wonder Woman,
Mulan, Black Widow. Oh, those are coming. Like Black Widow, The Eternals, and The Nightingale that were supposed to come out in 2020 will come out in 2021.
Right.
But yeah, like the ones, the big budget ones, the big franchise movies that actually hit it pretty big were all directed by women.
I've heard fantastic things about Little Women. I've yet to see it, but
I didn't see it either.
I've heard good things.
I'm surprised because
right, there wasn't many movies to see.
No, Girl was in it.
Yeah.
But I never did go see that. One of our girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is really fascinating. And was it just because of the movies that were coming out that, or what was the reasoning for this tide shift?
I think it was probably...
I know it's been like long overdue, right? But
I think it was probably a mix of a lot of things. So I think you had... this sounds horrible to say, but I think you had the pandemic, which didn't show a lot of releases of movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the big ones that were going to come out anyway were directed by women. Whereas a bunch of these smaller ones, independent ones that you would have seen directed by men, never came out.
Right.
Or will come out in subsequent years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was part of it. The other part of it is...
I think it's because women can't get the coronavirus.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay. Interesting.
So they needed somebody, to step in and direct these movies.
Actually, every person I know that has corona or has had it has all been men.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I actually know a couple of women that have gotten it, but yeah, still. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. But like I said, I think the other thing was that, it was just... It was just past due. It was just past the time. And I think... I think Hollywood isn't as afraid as they were in years past,
right,
to have women direct films, because Hollywood was run by old sexist white men
that probably died because of the coronavirus.
Hopefully, if there's a God, hopefully. But yeah, and they knew that they weren't going to direct movies that just had to do with your period and stuff like that, which I'm sure they were afraid of.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that scary thing.
Or your moon blood, as Game of Thrones calls it.
Really? Mm. Oh, I'd forgotten that they call that out.
Moon blood.
Over in Bulgaria, they'd call it, you had guests from the Black Sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're like, And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Mm. I'm like, why not the Red Sea? But, all right.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But the Black Sea touches, it borders it. Yeah, so, yeah. Like, oh, I got my guest for the month. Wait, what? Oh.
Yeah, the ex always called it Ant Flow. Mm. Yeah.
I don't know. This is really random, but, it never really prevented me from, still having sex. I just called it sex ketchup. So.
Sex ketchup!
Although I would never get my red wings because that's just gross. But.
Oh, Jesus. Sex ketchup.
You've heard of red wings before, though, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
I've earned mine.
Ugh, no, couldn't do it, dude. No. I'll take one for the team, but not, I don't know. Oof, no.
At this point, I want to say hi
Troy's
to
all
any...
like, why so serious?
At this point, I want to say hi to any family members who might be listening.
Right? Well, hello. If you're still listening.
We are earning that explicit tag that we have on our episodes.
Yes.
This time. Don't look up what that is, by the way. I mean, I'm sure you can guess at this point, but...
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get to our Revs and Recs, I thought it might be kind of fun because that year has finally ended. The year that must not be named.
Yes.
Shall not be named. So I thought it'd be a good idea to do our top 10 best things, our favorite things, our best things that happened in 2020.
Okay.
Which I know it's the best of 2020, a contradiction in terms.
Yes.
Pretty much what this list is called.
It is an oxymoron.
Yes.
See, when you'd messaged me this, I kind of took it to be top 10 different things in different categories that happened to come out during the last year. And two of the things that I love so very much are video games and movies. Mm-hmm. So I kind of did the top 10 video games and movies of 2020. I don't know how... So you just came up with a list of like the top 10 best things that happened in there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Have you just got the one? Or have you got a couple of different lists?
I just got the one.
Okay. Do you mind if I do like one of my lists and then we'll throw in yours and then go back?
Sure.
All right. See if you agree with me on movies. Number 10, Social Dilemma. Did you ever get a chance to see this on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
It's fascinating and scary at the same time. It's basically what's happening with social media and how they purposely like drive you back to their platforms and try to take up your time, which is the most valuable thing that you have. And it was terrifying and made me put down my phone for a while. But
okay. Actually, I just saw I do have my top 10 movies right here.
Oh, you do? Yeah, because you posted it on social media. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to say what your 10 was? Number 10?
We'll go through yours first.
Okay.
And then we'll do mine. We'll go back and forth.
Peninsula. It takes place in the same universe as Train to Busan, which Troy's tired of hearing about this, but it takes place 5 years later, and it was pretty fantastic. Number 8 was Palm Springs. I believe this was on Hulu, and this was Andy Samberg.
So far, you have not mentioned anything I've seen.
Okay. This is basically a Groundhog's Day, like the day keeps repeating, but he's also got another woman that's involved, and because of certain things, it's got John Malkovich in the mix, and it's pretty awesome.
Can't go wrong with John Malkovich.
Right? Number 7, Onward. You haven't seen this one?
I did see that one.
Right?
Yep.
This was really... Who was the voice actors? Chris Pratt and Tom Holland?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes. They did a great job with this. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of people kind of forgot about this movie because it came out early in 2020.
In March, I think, right?
Yeah. Number 6, Freaky. One of the few Vince Vaughn movies that I really enjoyed. I thought he did a fantastic job, and he didn't go over the top like Jack Black does when he portrays a woman or in a man's body.
Yeah. Or Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Number 5, Love and Monsters. This one was just a lot of fun. It was quirky and an interesting premise, and I didn't think the monsters were too over the top. And, well, besides this crab creature, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Number 4, Fat Man. This is basically a Christmas movie meets Fargo. It was dark. It was gritty. I loved that whole fight scene that took place towards the very end.
Yes.
It was like an interesting premise that actually worked. And whenever I try to explain it to somebody where I'm like, well, times were tough at the North Pole, so Santa decided to use the elves to help them make these like military planes. It just sounds weird, but it actually works, and it's fascinating.
It's really good.
Yes. Number 3, Invisible Man. I love this movie, and it came out in the very beginning of 2020, and it kind of got lost in the mix. But if you haven't already seen it, it's suspenseful, and it's great, and it's much better than Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon. The reason I didn't put it at number 2 is because the ending I thought was a little like cheesy, where she gets her revenge.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a great film.
Invisible Man, I've found on a lot of people's best movie lists.
Really?
2020.
Okay. Number 2 was If Anything Happens, I Love You. Did you see this one on Netflix? If you haven't seen this one on Netflix, it's only like 10 minutes long. Like, it's a great short film, but it's worth checking out. I don't want to give anything away. Don't look up anything about it. Just go check it out on Netflix, and you'll be... Man, I've seen so many people post videos where they're like, before watching If Anything Happens, I Love You, and then after, and then they're just like in tears. It's tragic, but it's worth watching.
Okay.
And number 1, Soul. This one stood at, like, we'll talk about it in our Revs and Recs later on, but Soul was fantastic.
Pretty good, yep.
Yes.
Okay.
That movie has a lot of soul.
It does. So here's my top 10 movies.
Yes.
In no particular order. So I'll just run them down really quick. Soul. Ava.
Yes.
Fat Man. Freaky. The Invisible Man. Bill and Ted Face the Music.
All right.
The Trial of the Chicago 7.
I've been meaning to see this one.
This is on Netflix. Yep. 1917, which I completely forgot came out in 2020.
Yeah.
It felt like that was 3 years ago that I watched that film.
And it took such a twist at the very beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Towards the beginning. I was just like, wait, what? They did what to this dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'd forgotten that movie came out during that year. It felt like it was like years ago.
9. Yeah. And then The Secrets We Keep, which is another one I totally forgot about.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which is the one where the woman thinks that a Nazi war criminal has moved into her neighborhood. That she knew, and so she kidnaps him. Yeah. Yeah, with some honorable mentions to Just Mercy and News of the World. So there you go.
You just reviewed News of the World last week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And even though it was a rough year for movies, it was surprising how many we'd actually seen, though, right?
Yeah.
Over the year. It's like, oh, yeah, that one's good.
The funny thing is, you did a lot more on streaming than I did.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I saw streaming was Trial of Chicago 7.
Okay.
And Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that on Disney+. Yeah, but everything else was in the theater.
At the theater? Or or somewhere else? You're like, well, I guess it was streaming.
And between the two of us, I'm the one that got Corona, so what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was worth it, though, Troy, to see these movies.
Dumbass that went to the theater.
And here I was like, yo, you should go. Like, go. Like, you know, we got to do this for the podcast.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay. Back to you.
Video games.
Yeah.
Number 10, and these are just the ones, like, I know there's, like, Halo Infinite and some of these other, Half-Life, there was another one of those that came out that takes place between the two, and there was quite a few other movies, or video games that I didn't play that came out during this year, but these are the ones that I played, so that's why they're in my top 10. Made of Sker was a pretty fascinating, scary movie, and it had kind of a interesting take on it. It was a first-person and the character would put their hands up to their mouth when they were trying to hide and be stealthy, and it was very stealth-driven, but it was a lot of fun. Resident Evil 3, I know it got a lot of shit, and it's not as good as the original one, and I've played, like, the original Resident Evil 3, and I liked that one better, but this one was pretty decent, and I loved the updated graphics, even though the story wasn't all there. Like, I remembered enough of the original one that, like, it made up for the holes in the story. But the multiplayer was shit, and it's stupid.
Okay.
Number 8, Fall Guys. For a minute, Fall Guys took over the world, and now it's kind of died off. But it was, like, a lot of fun. I played it with, like, some of my friends. I never actually got a win. I was so close. I jumped up for the crown and, like, barely missed it on one of the times, and I'm still kind of upset about it, and I kind of want to go back and play it just to get a win, now that nobody's playing it.
Okay.
Number 7, Phasmophobia. This one was released on the PC. I did get a chance to play it, and I watched some of my friends, like, stream it. This is a 4-person... you go on a ghost hunt. You have all these different, like, you have to, like, you go to a couple of different locations, and some of the locations are really big and expansive, but other ones, like the haunted house, like the house that's possessed by a demon or a poltergeist or a ghost or something, it's being haunted, and you have to go in there, and you actually use your mics and your headset, and you're like, hello, is anybody here?
Oh,
And
really?
you have to do certain things where you shut off the lights. And yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's a lot of fun just to watch other people play it, because you have to go back to a van where you can actually watch cameras that you place throughout the whole entire house, and you have to go through all those steps like you're actually setting up a paranormal investigation. And it's a lot of fun, like, for your friends, and, like, some of them, like, because you go back to the book and you'll look at, like, what you have to do, and it's like, well, if you think that you found something in this room, turn off the lights and, like, say these things, and yeah. It provides some pretty funny, interesting things, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to, like, play with, like, a full group. Number 6, Dreams. This one was an exclusive to PlayStation, and the cool thing about this one is you actually get to build your own video game. I got to play, like, a ton of it, and they walk you through the tutorial how to build these different levels, but then you can just go and run with it. I know quite a few people that have gone, and, like, the cool thing, and the thing that makes me come back to this game is you can actually go on there and search for other people's games. A lot of people have remade, like, PT. They also remade, like, certain levels on Mario. They've created their new games. This is just a platform that lets you create whatever you want, and it's got so many other things and textures and layers, and you can build your own video game if you want. And it's a lot of fun. But it's playing other people's creations that keeps me coming back to this game. Number 6, Ghost of Tsushima. This one, it was a great contrast when I played, like, The Last of Us Part 2 to go from this to something incredible. Like, as much as I love The Last of Us Part 2, and I'll get to that because that's my next pick, but Ghost of Tsushima, I loved how you're able to, you have to change up your fighting stance, and you're never in a situation where you can't overcome who you're playing, but it's a weird way of, like, leveling up and upgrading, but it's kind of stealthy, but you can also go run in there and just be a samurai and just kill everybody. Last of Us Part 2. The order was a little mixed up, but the mechanics, I love how you can go prone and lay down on the ground, and the story was still there, and it made me feel a lot of emotions, like high, lows, so I have to put it, like, in my number 4 spot. Number 3, Animal Crossing New Horizon. I know you've played a lot of this, Troy.
Yes.
I haven't played nearly as much, but this one kind of, like, especially during the pandemic, like, I have to put it in my number 3 spot because it helped so many people live in a world that didn't have the coronavirus.
It got a lot of people through.
Yeah. Number 2, Cyberpunk 2077. I know it's been getting a lot of flack, but they've since done a lot of updates on it. And the only issue that I've ever experienced is the loading screen will go, like, black for, like, about 5 seconds, but then it pops back up when you're loading into, like, a new area. And it's only done it to me, like, twice. But other than that, I haven't had an issue.
I did have to go in and see the genital creation.
Yeah.
I went on YouTube and watched people do it. I'm like, Wow.
Yeah. You can be
That's really
a
detailed.
dick with a chick, or you can be a dude with you can choose your size. Which I always thought was really funny because like in The Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan, he kind of picks like a normal junk, right? Kind of like in the mix. But I'm like, dude, you could do whatever you want. Like create yourself however you look. But
well,
anyways.
it's more girth and length.
I forgot what. Yeah.
At least that's what I've been told.
So my number one was Among Us. I still play this with a lot of my friends. We have a Discord group where they'll just like, hey, is anybody playing? We'll hop on, and it's just a lot of fun. Plus, Among Us took over the internet with memes. Everybody being sus and there's an imposter Among Us kind of a deal.
Yeah.
There's still like so many funny memes
I still
out there.
haven't played that.
It's a free download app game, and it's a lot of fun. You just go around doing these different little missions and stuff, or as an imposter pretending to do these missions, and then you go around killing people in the shadows, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So there you have it.
All right. Well, so for me, this list is just 10 things about 2020 that I actually liked.
And it wasn't until we were just about to start recording that you came up with one more.
Yes. So, and I did number them in order. So, number 10, Josh Gad and his YouTube series Reunited Apart.
Okay.
If you know what this is, he gets a lot of like classic 80s movies and he gets the entire cast together over Zoom and they talk about the experience of making it. Like he did Ghostbusters, he did Back to the Future, he did The Goonies, he did Splash, he recently just did Karate Kid. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Which, I mean, coincides with the new season of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Number 9, my Nintendo Switch / Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Yeah. That was probably the best purchase I made last year.
Right. Certainly wasn't movie tickets.
No.
Just kidding.
I mean, the GF got one too, and so we would play Animal Crossing together. And
because you can go visit each other. Yeah, that's cool.
It was fun.
Near, far apart, close at heart. Boom.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah.
Number 8, I was lucky enough to have a full-time job that entire year.
Yeah. You are essential.
Mm-hmm. I was never sent home. I was never without employment. I had a steady paycheck the entire year.
And they even stuck with you when you got the coronavirus and were nice about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave me a few weeks off. Number 7, my car. Now, let me explain.
Yeah.
I lived there for a while. I was just going out and just driving far.
Yeah. Well, especially with your camera.
Yeah.
Which is saying something that the Switch took, precedence over your camera as far as best purchase.
Yeah, well, the camera was fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't done a whole lot with it lately, and I'm still playing my Switch, so...
There you go.
Yeah, I loved being able to just get in my car and just drive, and ending up in Idaho or Nevada.
It's a freeing experience, and during 2020, I was without my car for 2 weeks, and I had to ride my bike everywhere or just walk, and I'm like, man, I miss my car.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I don't
feel more isolated, right?
Yeah, I don't want to take advantage of my car because I went 2 years without one.
Right. Yeah.
Which was awful. I had to get around with Uber or those green scooters. That's what I was doing.
Or your bike.
Or the bike, yeah. That was number 7. Number 6, YouTube. I've watched so many countless hours of YouTube.
Yeah.
This last year because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
Everything else was shut down. I couldn't go to movies. I couldn't do anything. So I was just watching YouTube.
Huh.
/ streaming. So Netflix, Disney Plus,
Right.
Number 5. there was a lot of really good action figures and toys released last year.
Oh, there really were, yeah.
I got a lot of really cool ones.
That you were able to like redesign or
a couple of them
polish up.
Yeah, a couple of them I customized. A couple of them sitting over there.
Yeah.
But a few of them I didn't. Like all those Transformers I got, and yeah. And my giant Donatello action figure. I love that thing.
That's way cool.
Number 4. The movie The Invisible Man.
Okay.
It was just a lot of fun, and it was rare that there was a reboot, or that there is a reboot / remake that can actually almost outdo the original.
Right, yeah.
And there's been so many remakes of The Invisible Man, but this one was it took it into the present day, and it
seemed
really,
like it could actually work.
Yeah,
right.
It was really clever, like the technology behind it and everything.
That, and also like it was so creepy and unsettling even from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
Like from that first scene, or where she's like looking over at a chair where she believes there's somebody. Like I started believing there's somebody, and like where is he at? Mm-hmm. Yeah, ooh, it was a good one.
Yeah, and the way the camera moved around, it was cool. I'd probably think about that movie at least once a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why it's on the list. Number 3, The Mandalorian Season 2.
Oh yeah,
it's just so good. It's just so good. If you're a Star Wars fan, you can't not love this series.
Yeah, seriously. It is the most Star Wars thing out there.
Yeah, it really is. That was number 3. Number 2, this podcast.
Yeah. Helps keep you sane.
Yes.
And it's like a perfect geek outlet, right?
It is. It's because during the rest of the week, I'm just working all week, and I'm just down here doing nothing. And so for like an hour or two, I can actually just let my geek flag fly for a bit.
Nice.
And the fact that we've been doing this since 2014.
Right? Still going strong.
Episode 300 is just 2 weeks away.
300
episodes.
Can you believe that?
Dude.
That is crazy. That man. If you told me a couple of years ago, when I walked into the movie theater, that you're like, "Hey, we'll have done like 300 episodes in a couple of years."
Yeah.
Like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we'll have done 300 episodes. We'll have met all these celebrities at Salt Lake Comic-Con.
It has really opened so many different doors.
Yeah.
And gotten us to try so many different things. Yep. Right?
And it's only going to get better.
Booyah.
Booyah. And then number 1, I know this is really cheesy, but meeting the GF.
Oh, yeah.
Year. It's been
even in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Not saying something.
Love in the time of Corona.
Ah, that Corona love.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's, it's soulmate, love at first sight, that whole thing, that's what it's been. And it's been awesome.
What the hell, Troy? I'm sitting right here.
Sorry. I hate to tell you, but there's another love in my life.
No!
Sorry. Yeah, but she's just the greatest. Greatest thing that's happened to me in a long time.
I mean, she might be able to meet the parents or whatever, but like, she still has to meet me.
It's true.
She has to get my approval, Troy.
That's true,
Otherwise, you have
true.
to like dump her. I'm sorry, Ashley, or GF.
GF.
Sorry.
Keep her anonymous. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just, like the ex was always called before. I was just referred to as the wife, right?
Right. Yeah.
On the podcast. So now Ashley's just the GF.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered about that, but now it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So there you go.
Those were the good things.
The good things about 2020. And now the GF is gushing because she listens to every episode. She's probably texting me right now. All right. Let's get to our Revs and Recs.
We both saw the same 2 movies this week.
We did.
Yeah. There's the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say which one we're going to start with, but like I'll let you guys, the listeners, decide.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, 1984. Here's the thing. We've been waiting for this film to come out for a long time now.
I honestly thought it was going to be the savior of the theaters.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what everybody was saying.
Yeah, this is gonna bring people back into the movie theaters. This is gonna kind of like relaunch everything.
Like, I'm pretty sure they made this movie like back in 2018. I bet they were shooting it.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So, okay. So here's the cast. You got Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman. You got Pedro Pascal as
The
Mandalorian as Maxwell Lord. You got Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. You got Chris Pine back as Steve Trevor. And a bunch of other people you've never heard of. Where to start?
So Wonder Woman has been established as a character, and she, I don't even know where to begin.
She's been going around for the last. See, the first one it took place in like World War I, right?
Right. So for quite a few years, she's been going around.
This is 1980s.
Then,
so it's like 70 years.
Trying to be anonymous and trying to,
Yeah, she's been anonymously doing good.
Winking and, shushing people.
Yeah. Not
Not to bring any light onto this.
Which, is hard to be anonymous when you're wearing a red, white, and blue sparkly outfit.
Yeah.
And have a giant silver or gold shiny rope that you're flinging around.
No, she used her, headband to, bust cameras, Troy.
Yeah, so she's been doing that for 70 years, making sure she's been busting all the cameras.
Yeah. I guess so.
Okay. So, yeah, now it's 1984, and she has this job doing something with archaeology. I don't know. I don't remember. I was barely paying attention. And she meets this awkward woman, Kristen Wiig, who is playing her Kristen Wiig character that she does, where she's awkward and weird and quirky.
That's like those movies, the romantic comedies that the girl tries to look ugly and she's not attractive, or even when Taylor Swift does this whole I'm this nerdy girl, and then I take off my glasses and now I'm this bombshell. I could tell you were still hot, and I don't see why people weren't attracted to you.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig isn't unattractive.
No.
Yeah, no matter what you do. And so they're both working in the same place, and Kristen Wiig's character ends up. She has to
work for the FBI.
Yeah, and found this little artifact that looks like they bought it from a dollar store.
Right.
This thing looks like garbage. It's supposed to be this jewel or this stone that grants wishes.
But it also takes something in exchange.
Yes. So, Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara Minerva, I think that's her name, wishes that she was more like Diana, that she was more confident, that she was
stronger.
Yeah.
What she doesn't realize is that Diana is Wonder Woman. So she gets even more strength than what she bargained for.
And Diana wishes, she doesn't really believe it, but he said, well, if I was going to wish for anything, I'd wish to have Steve Trevor back.
70 years. Man, she's got pictures around her office of him. She's just been
even
that's a long time to be hung up on a person.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if it was the love of your life, 70 years.
That's a lifetime right there for normal people.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're not trying, you're going to meet somebody.
Right.
Over 70 years.
No, you're going to, it's not until they wear a nice suit and have a wraparound scarf.
Right. So what ends up happening is Steve Trevor does come back as Chris Pine, but he's in the body of this other dude.
Right. But then they only use Chris Pine for the majority of the movie.
Yeah, so is she seeing Chris Pine?
No, she says that she only sees him, but she's actually seeing the other dude.
She's seeing the guy.
Right.
Right, okay. But we as an audience are seeing Chris Pine.
Correct. Because then, like, when he looks into the mirror,
he's seeing
the other dude.
The schlubby dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, that wasn't explained. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But she bought it really quick.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway. So then enter Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, who might as well, when he came in, should be wearing a top hat and twisting his mustache.
Yeah. It was that cheesy and
it was that over
obvious.
the top.
Yeah. Oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah. And he wants this crystal, stone, gem, whatever. And he wishes that he was the crystal, stone, gem, whatever.
So that he could grant other people's wishes.
Yeah.
But even still, like, there were certain times when people wouldn't, like, say the thing out loud, or it kind of switched up a little bit. It wasn't consistent.
So, right, exactly. So at the end, you remember... Okay, so there's that scene in Bruce Almighty, if you remember, when he was answering everybody's prayers and he just accepted everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what happened at the end of this film.
That's really what it felt like, because when they're on the airplane and she turns into Cheetor.
Cheetor? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He just says, like, hey, I'm feeling generous. You know,
Yeah.
what do you, like, he would have had to have asked somebody, say, like, hey, wouldn't you like to see her be this cheetah creature? Right? In order to get this to take place, but she was able to switch.
So, and then at the end, if you remember when he's broadcasting to the whole world over the TV,
yeah,
his son wishes for him to come back.
Right.
And it doesn't happen.
Well, because his son had already made a wish.
Did he?
Yeah, because when he put his hand on his dad's leg, and he had said, like, well, I wish that, you know, because he said that your power is my power and your success is my success. And he's like, well, then I wish for you to be, like, successful or something, or he'd wished for something, because you saw his hair blow in the wind.
I forgot about that. Yeah, every time somebody gets a wish granted, their hair blows in the wind a little bit.
Right.
Because it's mystical. Ooh. So here's the thing. It seemed like everybody was just phoning this movie in.
Yeah. Especially, like, I've seen movies set in the 80s before, and even Stranger Things did a better job.
Yeah.
Right? Than this movie.
You wouldn't have known this movie was set in the 80s. Except some
the jazzercising and the televisions and the cars.
Yeah, some people's clothes. But other than that, you really wouldn't have known.
No.
But I know Gal Gadot can do better. I know Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, they're better actors than this.
They are.
But for some reason...
They just kind of phoned it in, just kind of, all right, this is what they want me to do, I'll just go with it.
Yeah, the acting was just not good, and the story didn't make any sense, and...
I'm trying to be positive here, Troy. I was going to say, because this episode is all about positivity and like finding the good. Right? I did think it was kind of cool to see her invisible jet. It was weird how they got to that point, but I thought that was kind of like, I'm like, oh, you're actually getting to see this Easter egg. Right?
Yeah. I like that too. But you're right. She can make things invisible? Maybe that's a power Wonder Woman has?
Right, yeah.
Never seen that before.
So was she flying or just falling with style? I wasn't sure on that, because she used the lasso and then she like flipped it around, but then she just put it away. And she just kind of like listened to the words in her head.
I think it was like a Man of Steel moment.
Okay.
Where, because she jumped and started to fall, but then she remembered Steve Trevor's advice on flying, and so that helped her to fly. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, she used the lasso at first and like kind of pulled herself further along.
Well, that was when I think she started falling a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So she used that again to get a bit more momentum. Mm-hmm. Then she just flew.
The lasso, I thought it was kind of interesting that they made it to where you could also see truth. Not only did it like make you speak truth, but you could see truth. So then she was able to see don that whole gold suit.
That lasso was freaking ridiculous, by the way.
Right? It did more of the work than she did.
It caught a bullet.
Yeah.
The lasso caught a bullet.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That was flying back, and she whipped it and knocked it out of the way.
So, I had mentioned on Facebook, that I saw the movie and I said, well, that was disappointing. So here are a few of the comments.
All
some
right.
of my friends. Vanessa Salazar said, boring ass movie. I lost interest halfway through.
Well, it was 2.5 hours.
A buddy, John Irons,
Yeah.
he said, it definitely wasn't as good as the first one and about 20 minutes too long, but I still liked it.
Okay.
Fellow amateur voice actor, friend of mine, Chuck Fisher, says, ambitious but felt flat. Bad CGI. Kristen Wiig is the same cliche trope as she is in everything she's in, and I can go on and on. Dave, friend of mine, David Sanderson, he said, I dubbed it Golden Lasso 84.
All right.
The lasso did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like any problem she had, she just busted out that lasso and miraculously fixed it.
They did rely too heavily on the lasso.
Yes.
I mean, I understand, like, towards the end, when she was losing her abilities, yeah, she'd have to rely on the lasso. But even before, when she had her abilities, like, with my parents the other day, I went over to their house, and they're like, hey, we're gonna watch The Winter Soldier. And I'm like, oh, man, I gotta see this movie. I watched it. Those fight scenes are freaking amazing. And they're like, damn, this is so much better than Wonder Woman. And they just watched that as well.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom was like, even though we're not, like, on your level as far as, like, aficionados when it comes to, like, movies and stuff, you know, your love of movies, we can still see that, like, this is so much better, like, their fight scenes. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. The wishes, like you said, were not consistent.
No.
It's like some people, when they wish for something, they had it, but the bad thing happened right away.
Right.
Well, then with Wonder Woman, she wished for Steve Trevor back. Her powers didn't leave her right away.
No.
It was gradual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just... I will say, though, Chris Pine was actually really good.
Right.
I really liked his performance. I don't think he needed to be in the sequel, but he was actually really good. And I thought he was really funny. He actually got genuine laughs out of me.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was about it. Yeah. So, out of 5 Golden Lassos.
Yeah.
What are you giving it?
1.5? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did kind of, like, help a little bit, and I thought it was kind of cool to see some Easter eggs, even though it was a weird way how they got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. On to our second movie that we saw. We both saw Soul.
Yes.
Now, this is the newest installment, well, Disney/Pixar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to just break down what the premise is here?
Sure. So there's this middle school teacher by name of Joe who's in love with jazz music. And he's a band teacher, which some of those band classroom scenes, I felt that. That was all too familiar.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As a band teacher, you're like, okay, now do this. Then you actually hear it, and it's horrible.
Yeah. Like when they played just note.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's no really flow to it. It's like, that was too real.
Because you're too busy trying to, like, just play what's written.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than actually feeling it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a middle school band teacher, but he wants to get his big break. He
keeps waiting for that moment to happen.
Yeah.
Rather than living his life and living in the moment.
Yeah, he thinks he is put on the earth to play jazz music and to bring jazz music to people. Well, he ends up dying.
Which he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
I thought it was so weird that he died, like, so quickly. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, what just happened? That's him dying. Like, because from the trailer, you didn't really know how he became this soul-looking creature.
Yeah, he fell into a manhole and he died. and he ends up, he doesn't go to the light. He ends up
Which that was
going
terrifying.
another way.
Every time they showed that, I was just like, my heart. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think I'd do the same thing he did.
Yeah. Like, why are these other people like all just happy and all too like accepting of this?
So he ends up going to like this basically training camp for souls,
right?
To prepare them to go down to Earth.
Where they have to kind of find their niche, or they actually have to find like that spark that makes them want to go to Earth.
Yeah.
Right?
That thing that makes them special for when they do go to Earth. Like that's like they're given talents.
See, that's what you were like led to believe what it was, but it was actually just like they need to find that drive and that desire to go to Earth.
Right.
Right.
And so he ends up being a mentor
to number 2.
To 22.
Or 22, excuse me.
And I thought that was funny because there are literally billions of souls.
Yeah.
But there's number 20. She was literally the 22nd soul
in existence. Yeah.
But she has refused to go to Earth this whole time. And so
when she finally does, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. And so it's kind of becomes their journey of he's trying to get her to want to go to Earth. They actually
that he can get his he can take that badge and use it to get himself back to Earth.
Right.
Because he's in a coma.
Right. And so they actually do end up going back to Earth, but they kind of messed it up, and so there's a little bit of a body swap thing going on.
Right.
Which was really funny, actually.
It was really weird, like hearing like Tina Fey out of his voice, like
out of this
his
black
body.
Dude's voice.
Yeah, out of his body. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny, and he ended up being in the body of a cat, which I thought was really funny too.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they have to try and get back, to heaven basically, and kind of
switch it around
this whole thing. Yeah. And so they
meet some interesting characters along the way. Some hippies.
Yep. Because so that's the thing. That's one thing I loved about this movie is their take on the afterlife.
Yeah.
I thought was really interesting.
It was original.
Yes.
And it actually like seemed kind of believable, and you're like, oh, I could see that being like, similar.
And there's different steps. There's different areas in the afterlife. Like you can go into light and you're done.
Right. Well, are you? I don't know. They didn't really
they didn't explain that.
Yeah.
But there's also, they explain like when you get into, if you have this talent and you get into the zone, like
it's transcendental basically.
Yeah.
You go into this area and you kind of get a glimpse of heaven, basically heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm. But also there's the opposite, that if you're so consumed with something,
right,
you're basically dead inside, and so your soul's up there anyway.
Which I felt that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that too.
Man, there was a lot of feels in this movie. It definitely had soul.
And I immediately went to my job. I'm like,
oh, God.
There's got to be a couple times where I was stocking shelves where my soul left my body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was that weird soul creature up there, and I was just stocking imaginary shelves.
And then you get on the podcast and, you're touching heaven.
Yeah, and the soul comes back down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm alive again.
This helps ground you.
Yep. It has a great cast, too. Jamie Foxx.
He does a fantastic job with it.
He does.
Yeah.
Tina Fey. Who else is in it? Graham Norton.
Yeah.
Plays the hippie dude. Oh man, who else is in it? Oh, Daveed Diggs. Speaking of Hamilton, he's in it. Soul cast. Hang on, I just want to make sure I get everybody here. Richard Ayoade, Ayoade, as the Soul Sorter. Felicia Rashad, Questlove, like I said, Graham Norton, Angela Bassett, Donald Rawlings, Wes Studi, like just a really, really cool, diverse cast.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's another thing I thought was cool. Their main character in this film was a middle-aged black man.
Right.
Like, when does that happen in a Pixar film?
No,
a
never.
Disney
Yeah,
film?
never.
Yeah.
I also really gotta say that I loved the music throughout the whole thing.
Music was so good.
Right? Having played in jazz bands before, it's just like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yep. But it's a feel-good movie. It's a movie about...
It makes you reflect.
It does.
Yeah.
Movie about sometimes we think that we're on a certain path and that we're here to do one thing. We're actually here to do something else.
Which is to live.
Yes.
Yeah. And enjoy the moments and the small things. And, like, I recently was talking to somebody about this, and, I mean, this is going off on a tangent here, but happy is an emotion just like mad, anger, all these other things, and you're not meant to be completely, like, happy all the time, but I think that you're supposed to be more, like, kind of complacent and content, you know, with your existence, and you're just like, you know, I'm in a good place in my life, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you're going to feel these highs and these lows and stuff, but, like, if you can come back to there, you know, that's a side tangent, but it's an important lesson.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about it
That
we missed?
Favorite movie of the year. Right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after seeing Wonder Woman. That was refreshing. Like, oh yeah, Pixar knows what they're doing.
Yeah. It was a very interesting take on, like, what heaven is and the afterlife is like.
Yes.
And I was really not expecting him to die so suddenly.
No.
Yeah, that took me by surprise, and I'm like, oh, all right. And then, like, that was terrifying every time they'd show, like, the light, boom. Nope.
And just these thousands of people going up into the light.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
And thousands of people jumping off on going to Earth,
Yep.
kind of a deal.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a good film.
And I like the way it ended. I mean, I won't give you any spoilers, but like usually Pixar, the way they end their movies, they tie it up in a nice little neat bow.
Right.
And everything, you know, all the, nothing's left undone, everything's, but this one, they left it open-ended.
Is that for a sequel?
I doubt it.
Right.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But it was more of they left it open to your interpretation.
Along with a lot of things, you know, like the afterlife and some of these other subjects that they touched on. It's kind of open to your interpretation. So, yeah.
So, out of 5...
Badges?
Yeah, soul badges?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whew. I'm trying, like... I don't know, it's difficult. I'm, like, right there at, like, borderline 5. Like, right? I'd say, like... 4.9. 4.9.
Okay.
It's borderline, yeah. There was just a couple of little things that was like, that wasn't really necessary, but you know, it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I'm at 4.5.
Okay,
Definitely. Yeah. Go see Soul.
yes,
You won't regret it.
and you don't even need to pay like $30 to see it.
No.
$30 extra on top of your subscription.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter, Disney. I'm not bitter at all.
Yeah, it's just funny. You see, we watched Mulan, which is a straight Disney film.
All right.
And then you watch Soul, which is Pixar, and you're like, oh, I see the difference
Yeah.
between Disney and Pixar here. Okay. Yeah. One's in it just for money. The other wants to tell stories.
Well, they are owned by Disney, though.
True.
But they kind of like let these creators
Do their
thing.
Do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, here's where you can find us. You can listen to all of our episodes for now at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, and CosmicPotatoNetwork.com. On social media, you can find us at Facebook.com/WorldWarG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/WorldWarG. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwargpod@gmail.com. You can also call or text the show at any time at 801-747-9516. Also, our World War G Pod password is... Oh, I'm just kidding. So I do have that written down. So I don't forget. So this has been World War G episode 298. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends.